Chapter 1. The Forest That Breathes. I always believed there were still places untouched by time. Places where no one had ever walked. The kind of places that shouldn't exist anymore. I was wrong. Some places aren't untouched. They're forbidden. We found it by accident. A valley deep in the mountains, hidden under constant fog. It didn't appear on any map. The locals said it was cursed. They called it the forest that breathes. We laughed at that. We thought it was just a story. But stories come from somewhere. And this one was waiting for us. Waiting for me. There were four of us. Explorers, hikers, friends. We wanted to map unknown trails, record nature, sounds, maybe even find something new. It was supposed to be a 2-day trip. We packed light, tents, food, cameras. The weather was calm when we started. The mountain air was fresh, sharp, beautiful. But as we approached the valley, the air changed. It grew heavy, damp, electric, and silent. No birds. No insects. No wind. Just silence so thick it pressed against your ears. I remember saying, "It feels like the forest is holding its breath." We laughed again, but no one laughed long. A few steps. Later, our compass stopped working. The needle spun endlessly, then stopped, pointing toward the fog. The trees grew taller there, ancient, enormous, their roots twisting like veins. The ground was soft, breathing underfoot. Sometimes the fog moved against the wind. It coiled around our legs like smoke, cold and alive. We took photos, but none of them looked right. Each picture was blurred, no matter how steady the hand. Shapes appeared in the mist. Maybe tricks of light. Maybe not. I kept those photos anyway. By the first night, we reached a clearing. The ground was covered in strange symbols made of stones. Circles, spirals, lines. They looked recent, like someone had arranged them. We assumed it was local ritual art. Still, something about it felt wrong. There was a scent in the air, wet soil and iron. The fog glowed faintly under the moonlight. We decided to camp there. That was our first mistake. We built a fire. Its light didn't spread far. It stopped a few meters away, like the darkness swallowed it whole. The trees around us seemed to move when we weren't looking. Their shapes shifted subtly, their shadows stretching too far. The air was full of whispers, but none of us spoke. Every sound felt distant, muffled like coming through water. I could feel something watching. Not one thing, many. Eyes hidden in the fog. Silent. Waiting. We tried to ignore it. We talked louder, laughed harder, pretended everything was fine. But laughter sounded wrong there. It echoed back, distorted, slower, deeper, like something else was laughing with us. When I looked at the others, their faces were pale, their smiles forced. We all felt it. That pressure, that awareness. The forest wasn't still. It was breathing. I lay awake long. After everyone slept, the fire had died down to embers. The fog moved closer, swallowing the last bits of orange light. Somewhere in the dark, something snapped. A twig. Maybe. Then soft footsteps. Slow, deliberate, circling our camp. I reached for my flashlight. It flickered once, then died. I held my breath. The footsteps stopped right behind me. I didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe. The air grew colder. Then I heard it, a whisper right next to my ear. A single word. My name. Soft, broken, familiar. I turned slowly, heart pounding. No one was there. When morning came, I told the others. They didn't believe me at first, until we noticed the footprints. Not ours, smaller, barefoot, dozens of them. They surrounded our camp. Some led into the trees, others disappeared. Into the fog. We followed one trail for a few meters, then stopped. Because the footprints weren't human anymore. They changed shape. Longer. Clawed. The forest grew thicker as we pushed forward. The light dimmed, even though it was midday. The trees leaned in closer, their bark cracked like old skin. Every branch looked like a hand. The fog pulsed faintly, moving like breath. That's when I understood the name. The forest really was breathing, and we were inside its lungs. Each inhale drew us deeper. Each exhale tried to push us out, but we didn't leave. We couldn't. Something in that air made us stay. Like the forest itself was whispering inside our minds. We walked for hours, maybe days. The compass never worked again. Our watches froze at the same time. 3:17 p.m. Every time I looked up, the sun was in the same place. The light never changed. Time stopped. We found strange things along the way. Wooden carvings hanging from branches, figures of people with no faces, ropes tied around trees, stretched across the path like warnings. A backpack torn open, half buried in mud. We called out several times, but no one answered. Sometimes we thought we heard a voice in the distance, but when we followed it, it led us in circles. Back to the same clearing, back to the same stone symbols, back to the same whispers. Always back. That night, we didn't make a fire. We just sat in the dark, listening. The forest was alive now. It moaned softly like wind through hollow bones. I could feel the ground moving under me, like a heartbeat. Something was growing stronger, something beneath us. When I finally closed my eyes, I dreamed of roots, long, black, reaching upward. They had hands. When I woke up, one of us was gone. His sleeping bag was still there, his gear untouched, but no sign of him. The fog was thicker than ever, swallowing the trees whole. We called his name until our throats hurt. Then the forest answered. The echo came back perfectly, but not from one direction. It came from everywhere, and it was laughing. Chapter 2. The Whispers in the Fog. We searched until our voices broke. Every path looked the same. Every tree looked the same. Even our footprints vanished behind us. It was like the forest erased our presence, or maybe it remembered too well. The fog thickened until we could barely see each other. The air smelled of earth and decay. And beneath that, something metallic. Like blood, we decided to stick together, shoulder to shoulder. But it didn't help. The fog moved between us like a living thing. Sometimes I saw shapes inside it, figures standing still, just beyond reach. When I blinked, they were gone. The silence pressed harder. Even our footsteps sounded distant. I kept calling his name again and again. But it wasn't my friend's voice that answered. It was mine, from somewhere in the fog ahead, repeating my words perfectly, but half a second late, like an echo that thought for itself. The others heard it too. We stood frozen. Then the echo spoke again, not repeating this time. It whispered something new, and it used my name. I wanted to run, but the fog was everywhere. It wrapped around us like cloth. I could feel it against my skin, cold, wet, heavy. The sound came closer. Footsteps again. Slow, uneven, dragging. The others turned on their flashlights, sweeping through the mist. The beams hit nothing but moving white. Then a face appeared. For just a moment. It was him, our missing friend. He stood a few meters away, staring at us. But something was wrong. His body swayed slightly, as if underwater. His eyes were open too wide, and his mouth moved without sound. Then, slowly, he raised his hand. I thought he was waving, but his arm wasn't attached right. The skin hung loose, twisted around the elbow. His hand pointed at me. The fog around him pulsed with light. We shouted his name, but he didn't move. The others pulled me back. And just like that, he was gone. No sound. No trace. Only the whisper of leaves shifting above us. But there was no wind. We decided to leave the forest. It didn't matter where the valley led. We just had to move. The path behind us was gone, replaced by roots. Thick, black roots rising from the ground like bones. They pulsed faintly, as if breathing. We cut through them with our knives, but they bled. Dark sap dripped out, smelling like rot. The fog thinned for a moment, and I saw something. Far ahead, between the trees. A cabin. Small, wooden, broken. Its roof collapsed in the middle. It looked ancient, but smoke rose from a hole in the top. The others saw it too. We hesitated, then moved toward it. The forest went silent again, watching. Every step made the ground tremble slightly. When we reached the door, it was already open. Inside, everything was covered in dust. There were no windows. Only one table, one chair, and a mirror on the wall. The fire burned in a stone pit, but there was no wood, no fuel. It just burned. We stepped inside, grateful for light, even if it wasn't natural. The air was warm but wrong. It smelled like old blood and metal. One of us whispered, "Who made the fire?" And that's when we saw the carvings. The walls were covered in them. Hundreds of symbols, the same ones from the clearing. Circles, lines, eyes. Some carved deep enough to expose the wood's heart. Others still wet, fresh. The floor creaked beneath us. I turned toward the mirror. At first, I saw my reflection. Then it blinked. But I didn't. It smiled slowly. Its mouth stretched wider than mine ever could. I stumbled back, my breath stuck in my throat. The reflection lifted its hand, but I hadn't moved. Then it reached forward. Its fingers touched the glass from the inside. The surface rippled like water. I screamed for the others, but they didn't hear me. They were staring at something else. Something behind me. I turned slowly. The fog had entered the cabin. It poured through the cracks in the walls, rolling across the floor. Inside the fog, shadows moved, whispering. Soft, childlike voices. They spoke in rhythms, words looping over each other. It sounded like prayers or warnings. The fire flickered blue. The mirror cracked. Something stepped out of it. Not through, but out. The glass peeled open like skin. A dark figure emerged, tall, thin, faceless. It moved like smoke, but had weight. Every step made the floor groan. I couldn't scream. I couldn't breathe. It reached for my arm, and the moment it touched me, I felt it. It wasn't trying to hurt me. It was showing me something, a vision. I saw the forest from above. The trees twisted in spirals, forming a shape, a massive eye staring upward. The fog moved through it like blood. Every path we took led to the center of that eye, and in the middle of it, something pulsed, alive, waiting. The vision faded. I was back in the cabin, gasping. The figure was gone, but the fog was thicker, darker. My friends were gone, too. Only their voices remained, whispering from the walls, from the cracks, from the fire. They said my name again. I ran. I didn't care where. The forest twisted around me, stretching endlessly. The trees leaned closer, their bark shifting like faces. Roots burst from the ground, grabbing my ankles. I cut them free, but they grew back instantly. Every breath felt like glass. Every sound echoed wrong. And through it all, I heard laughter. Soft, close, familiar. It sounded like mine. I fell to my knees. The fog swirled around, forming shapes again. Hands, arms, faces, hundreds of them. They whispered together in a single voice. You were never supposed to leave. I covered my ears, but the voice came from inside. Inside my head. Inside my chest. Inside the forest itself. I ran until my legs gave out. Until I collapsed beside a massive tree, its trunk hollowed like a mouth. The fog swirled around me, pulling me closer. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The roots wrapped around my body, tightening slowly. And in the distance, I saw the cabin again. But this time it was burning. Through the flames, I saw figures standing. Still, watching me, smiling. Then, one by one, they stepped into the fire. Their bodies didn't burn. The flames turned black instead, spreading like ink. The light vanished, replaced by shadows. The forest moaned, deep, heavy, endless. And everything went dark again. I thought it was over, but then I opened my eyes, and I was standing back at the clearing, back where we first camped, back at the stone symbols. The fire pit was still there. So were the footprints. But there were more now. Dozens. Hundreds. All barefoot, leading into the fog. And somewhere deep inside that fog, I heard something breathing. Slow. Calm. Like the forest itself. Like it was waiting for me to move. Chapter 3. The Eye of the Forest. I stood in the clearing, frozen. The fog swirled like it was alive. The symbols on the ground glowed faintly. Circles. Spirals. Eyes. All of them pulsing in rhythm. With a forest breath, the air vibrated softly deep in my chest. Something beneath the soil was moving. Slow. Massive. I could feel it watching me from below. And I knew I wasn't supposed to be. Here, my arm began to ache again. The veins glowed faintly, red beneath the skin. They pulsed in time with the sound in the earth. The forest was inside me now. Every inhale filled my lungs with folk. Every exhale came out colder. The trees leaned closer, their bark twisting into faces. Their mouths opened soundlessly. From their cracks came whispers. Hundreds of voices, layered, endless. They spoke a name I didn't know, over and over again. Not mine, not human. The ground trembled. The symbols rearranged themselves, shifting stones as if moved by unseen hands. A spiral opened at the center of the clearing. It wasn't a hole, it was an eye. A single, massive eye beneath the soil. Its pupil dilated slowly. I tried to move, but my body wouldn't respond. The forest had taken control. My heart raced faster, trying to match its rhythm. I could hear blood pounding in my ears. Or maybe it wasn't mine anymore. Something whispered inside my head. You've come too far. The voice was calm, almost kind. Then it added, now you see. The ground cracked open. Roots burst from the soil like veins, wrapping around my ankles. They were cold and wet, moving like living things. They didn't pull me down. They lifted me up. I hung above the clearing, staring down into the spiral. The fog parted, revealing something beneath, something ancient. Shapes moved slowly, like creatures swimming through black water. Their bodies were translucent, glowing faintly. They weren't animals. They looked human. Hundreds of them, floating beneath the ground, eyes open, mouths moving silently. Their faces shimmered between life and death. And they were whispering the same word again. Stay. The roots tightened around me. My light flickered. I felt the pull. Gentle at first, then stronger. I screamed, but no sound came out. The forest didn't need my voice. It already had it. The whispers turned into a hum. Deep, rhythmic, hypnotic. The eye beneath the ground blinked once, and everything changed. The fog thickened into liquid. The air became heavy as stone. The trees began to move, not swaying but walking. Their roots tore through the soil, pulling them closer. Each trunk bore faces, hundreds of them, shifting with each breath. They surrounded me in silence. Then they knelt. The entire forest bowed. The air cracked with energy. And from the center of the spiral, something rose. A figure, tall and pale, cloaked in shadows and vines. Its body was part of the earth, its skin like bark and bone. No eyes, no mouth, but I could hear it speak inside my skull. You have seen what others could not. Its voice was ancient, layered, infinite. You belong to the breath. I shook my head, struggling against the roots. I tried to tell it no, but the fog poured into my mouth, filling my lungs. The air burned cold. My memories flickered like broken film. Faces of my friends. Their laughter. The first night. The footprints. Then nothing. The figure reached out a hand made of roots and light. When it touched my chest, everything stopped. My heart. My breath. The sound of the forest. Silence. Total silence. Then a new rhythm began. Not mine. Ours. The same beat as the forest. The same pulse as the ground. The roots let me go. I fell slowly, weightless, landing softly in the spiral. The soil beneath me was warm. It pulsed faintly, alive. The figure dissolved into mist, sinking back into the earth. The forest exhaled. A wave of wind swept through the trees, carrying whispers. With it, voices fading, sighing, resting. The fog began to lift. The light returned. When I stood, the clearing was empty. No Simbids, no Vodius, no eye, just trees, silent and still. The air smelled fresh again, like rain. For a moment, I thought it was over. I took one step, then froze. Because under my boots, the ground pulsed once. Like a heartbeat, the fog shifted in there. Distance, and I saw them. My friends, standing between the trees, half hidden, their faces calm, their eyes black and endless. They were waiting, smiling. One raised a hand, pointing toward me, and they spoke together. You are part of it now. Their voices blended into one sound. The forest echoed with it. Leaves rustled, branches groaned, roots twisted beneath me. I fell to my knees, cover my ears. The sound was everywhere, inside, outside, infinite. It filled my head with light. And in that light, I saw everything. The valley, the fog, the forest breathing, the endless cycle. Those who enter never leave. They just change shape, become part of the roots, part of the whisper, part of the forest that breathes. And in that moment, I finally understood. The forest wasn't cursed. It was alive. It was hungry, always hungry. I ran. I didn't care where. Branches tore at my arms, roots grabbed at my legs. But I didn't stop. The fog grew thinner with every step. Light flickered ahead, the edge of the valley. Freedom. I broke through the last wall of mist, and the world was gone. No mountains, no sky, no sound, only trees. Endless black trees, stretching forever. I screamed, but the echo that came back wasn't mine. It was calm, familiar. It whispered one last time, breathe. Chapter 4, the silence that follows. I don't know how long I've been walking. The trees never end. Each one looks the same, twisted, hollow, watching. The fog moves like it's alive again. It rises and falls with my heartbeat. The ground beneath me is soft, warm, pulsing faintly. Every step feels like stepping on a sleeping thing. Sometimes I hear whispers behind me. Sometimes they come from inside me. I keep walking, hoping for light. But the light never changes. It's always gray here, never morning, never night. The forest exists between moments. A place where time forgot to move. My watch is still stuck at 3:17. The same second, forever frozen. I think I stopped aging too. My skin feels cold, heavy, almost hollow, like the forest is wearing me instead of me walking through. I call out sometimes just to hear a voice, but my echo doesn't sound human anymore. It stretches, deepens, fades into a whisper. It always says the same word. Back to me. Stay. I try not to listen, but the word feels comforting now. It feels right. The more I resist, the quieter it gets. The silence becomes heavy again, almost peaceful. I see the clearing ahead, the same one where all began. The stones are still there, arranged in perfect circles. No footprints this time, only stillness. The air vibrates faintly, like a low hum in my bones. It's calling again, but it's not trying to trap me anymore. It just wants me to listen, to understand. I kneel at the center of the circle. The ground is warm. When I touch it, it beats like a heart. Slow, steady. I whisper into the soil. I don't want to stay. For a moment, the forest listens. Then the ground trembles softly. A voice answers from below. You already have. The fog thickens again, curling around my body. It feels familiar, almost gentle. The air smells like rain now, not rot. I hear soft footsteps behind me. I don't turn. I already know who it is. My friends stand in the mist, watching. Their eyes glow faintly, calm and kind. They don't speak. They don't need to. One of them steps closer. He smiles the same smile from before we entered. For a moment, I believe we're safe again. Then his skin ripples like water. The image flickers, fades, returns. They aren't people anymore. They're shapes the forest. Remembers. Echoes of what we were. Ghosts of its hunger. I whisper their names, but they dissolve into mist. I try to run, but the fog holds me. It's not cruel. It's patient. It moves like a tide, pulling me gently backward. My body grows lighter. My feet sink into the soil. The heartbeat under me slows. The forest exhales. I feel it pass through me. And then everything stops. No sound. No Nobody's. Just silence. The kind of silence that's alive. The kind that listens. I can hear the earth moving far below. Roots shifting, growing, reaching upward. One touches my ankle. Then another. They slide up slowly, wrapping around my legs. I don't fight anymore. I'm too tired. The air grows warmer, softer. I can hear whispers again, but they're not warning me now. They're singing. Hey, slow, wordless melody. It sounds like wind through leaves. It sounds like home. I close my eyes and let it happen. The roots climb higher, wrapping around my chest, my arms, my neck. They move like hands, careful and gentle. I can feel my heartbeat sinking with the forest again. Slower now, deeper, until I can't tell which one is mine. The fog drifts through me instead of around. Me. It fills every empty space. It breathes for me. I am part of the forest now. I see flashes in my mind. The mountains above. The villages below. The people who will someday wander here again. They'll find the same fog. The same silence. The same illusion of safety. And the forest will welcome them, too. One breath at a time. One soul at a time. I wonder if they'll hear my voice. Maybe they'll feel a hand on their shoulder. Maybe they'll hear a whisper in the dark. A voice telling them to go back. To leave while they still can. And if they don't listen, the forest will take. Them gently. It doesn't hate. It just hungers. It always hungers. The silence grows deeper. It feels endless, peaceful, final. I can't move anymore. I don't need to. I'm everywhere now. In the roots, in the fog, in a whisper of leaves. When the wind blows, I breathe with it. When it rains, I open my eyes. The forest doesn't forget. It just changes what it remembers. The faces of those who came before blend into the bark. Their voices hum beneath the soil. I hear them all around me. They are calm. They are one. And soon I will be too. I'm not afraid anymore. Only quiet. Somewhere above, light breaks through the fog. It touches the trees, softly, golden and thin. The leaves shimmer like wet glass. The forest breathes again. In, out, slow and steady. The sound echoes through me. I whisper with it. My last breath belongs to it. My last word is the forest's. Breathe.